ॐ ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. Beginning with question 1. There are only three of us. If I don't see the faces, what am I going to do? Speak to the blank screen? Why you guys don't follow Zoom etiquette? First question by Arjun. Does building one's intellect fall under self-centered goal, or is it for the larger cause? So the format is if the others give an answer before I speak.
Swami?
Yes.
Yeah, just give me 5 minutes, Swami. I'll be on video also.
No,
Yeah.
no, no.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. It is both, Swami.
Okay. Explain.
It is, yeah. See, self-centered, definitely. The goal of human life is to realize this moksha or the ultimate Brahman. So it is going to aid that. And ultimately, once you do that, it's definitely for the greater good of the human mankind also.
Okay. When he means
So,
self-centered, he's talking about selfish, being selfish. That's what Arjun's
yes,
question.
definitely, you've got to be selfish first to develop your own intellect. In that process, we have got to start with us first. Without that, we cannot go anywhere. So, definitely, it is self-centered. And once our self-centered realization happens, then automatically it leads to it's for both. It cannot be separated. Like,
Okay. Prabhu, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah.
So I believe that the main purpose of developing one's intellect is to be less self-centered or remove the ego. As you develop your intellect, you become less self-centered and more spiritual in that form. So I don't feel like it's one of it does I don't feel like intellect falls under the self-centered goal.
Okay. Arjun, we have these three equipments, right? The body, the mind, the intellect. So with physical body, you execute actions. With the mind, you have feelings. And with the intellect, you conceive thoughts or develop your thinking. So the building of these equipments by themselves doesn't mean anything. A person who goes to the gym to build the physical body, to become the Mr. World, he is also building his body. A person who's in the spiritual path, who just wants the body not to disturb him or understood the body's role in one's life, and he goes and does yoga or goes to the gym, he is also going to the same thing. He is also strengthening the body, isn't it? Similarly, with the emotions, you develop relationships so that you feel secure, or you understand by serving everybody, means that's why you develop relationship, because you're serving everybody. In that sense, people start relating to you. There also emotions are developed. Same with intellect. You build your intellect. The building of the intellect could be, how quickly can I make money? See, the person who downed the Twin Towers, it's an intellectual calculation, right? They calculated so perfectly. If the plane goes and hits at this point, that's when the building will break, isn't it? So it's an intellectual work only. Yeah, so you can do it, develop the intellect for destruction or develop the intellect in both the cases for evolution. Intellect is developed. So therefore, building one's intellect doesn't fall into any category. Building one's intellect means you are developing your thinking. For what you are developing defines everything. If you are developing the clarity of thinking to be able to grow and evolve, then it aids in the evolution. If you are building the intellect to be able to manipulate everybody and grow above people, no, somehow crush them, and then you can become the most successful person. That is also intellect only, isn't it? So for what you are building the intellect defines whether it is for selfish interest or larger cause. See what Mahesh is saying, which he didn't mean, but I'm giving clarity to what he's saying. When you develop the intellect for a larger cause, you being part of it, you will also be successful in everything. That will all happen. It is incidental. So you will have to develop the clarity of thinking and build the intellect to be able to control your mind. Right? So the action of development of the intellect is exactly the same. You have to go study, you will have to keep thinking and everything. Action remains the same. For what you are developing intellect defines your life. Right? A person goes to, is representing the country, play a sport like cricket. Right? He can think, how can I keep my position? Action is still the same. He has to go and exercise. He has to go to the gym. He has to do everything. He has to go and see the ball and play whatever, right? How can I keep my position? How can I get name and fame? How can I make money? Same actions. See the ball, hit the ball, whatever. Do your exercise, everything. A person who's unselfish. I've got a chance among, what's the population of India? 8 billion. Huh? Of 8 billion, 11 people are chosen. So I've been chosen out of 15. What an opportunity I've got. I'll go and serve the country through this. Same action. He also sees the ball, hits the ball. A person who thinks, my Swadharma is to play cricket and I got this opportunity to represent the country. Through this, I will evolve. Same, see the ball, hit the ball. So action remains the same. For what you're doing, it gives you all the energy, power, and enthusiasm. So similarly, building the intellect involves the same process. If you do it only for yourself, you are not using your capacity of thinking, because the capacity of thinking can expand to include everybody, right? So therefore, keep the highest thing as goal. I want to develop my intellect to evolve further, to include more and more people, to serve everybody. Incidentally, you will also be taken care of, because in this process, what you have to do? 555 bricks have to be sold everywhere. All medical equipments have to be sold everywhere, isn't it? That's how you are going to grow. So because you will get the means, then you can serve everybody, isn't it? In this process, you will also be successful. But why to keep it as a selfish goal? Keep as high a goal as possible. And what happens is, this is the most interesting thing. The higher the goal, greater the energy to work. This is something that people miss. How they say, no, the Prime Minister of our country is sleeping only for 5 hours. How is it that he's able to do in and day out? I don't know. I don't know personally. I'm just giving a general idea. Because if he's thinking, how can I benefit the country? I've got a role to play, right? That gives the energy, the power to work. You should go interviews of Virat Kohli after he became captain. After he became captain, he said, now I'm thinking of the whole team. They asked him, after you became captain, you started scoring more. You're playing for a longer period of time. You're able to concentrate more. He said, yes, because now I'm thinking of the greater good. How can I contribute to the team? How can I play for the team? Instantly thinking of the larger set, he's saying, now I find that I have more consistency. I have more stamina to play. I am able to concentrate for a longer period of time. You understand? So larger goal gives you more energy, more enthusiasm. Therefore, ideally build the intellect for a larger cause or towards realization. Realization is the largest cause. because the process is exactly the same for developing the intellect. Selfish fellow also has to study, has to develop this clarity of thinking. Unselfish fellow also has to do the same thing. Selfless fellow also has to do the same thing. Might as well do it for the higher cause. Any questions?
Yes, Swamiji.
Thank you, Swami. Thank you.
Yeah. Question 2. Prabhu is the questioner. In lecture 12, Swamiji mentions that every person has a capacity and he requires a right teacher to get to that capacity or move from point A to point B, which is upward slope. And from that point onwards, he reaches saturation point. My understanding was that capacity varies from one person to another. But can anyone improve his capacity point B to point C before he goes to a saturation point? Or is it that point B is fixed for that person based on his vasana?
Yes, Swami. What I feel is that, yes, definitely every person is born with a certain capacity and certain vasanas. And depending on the environment, these again get shaped depending on his immediate environment. But every person has the capacity provided he uses the right technique or he uses the guidance of the right teacher. Person is not limited by his inherent capability. Definitely, a person can reach the zenith. Every person has, in fact, been at some point down the ladder and at some point has reached the zenith. So it is the right teacher and the right technique definitely can help one to move from the lower rungs to the higher rung.
Arjun?
Swamiji, from point A to B, it is the Guru who helps us to reach that state. From point B, it is completely based on one's effort. And the effort, I feel that everybody has got the same qualities irrespective of the vasanas, because every individual, if he puts the right amount of effort, will definitely have that, will definitely move forward.
Intellectual is a human capacity, so everyone is being endowed with the usage of intellect. As Mr. Arjun said, it is up to us to use the intellect. Yeah, every human is endowed with the capacity of being intellectually capable.
Arjun, do you have anything more to add?
No, Swamiji.
So what was meant by that thing is, until you knew that you had a potential in a particular thing, why will you put effort to exhibit the potential? Right? So each one has an intellectual capacity. When you are getting introduced to the subject of Vedanta and when you get introduced to the teacher, what happens is you start thinking. The moment you start thinking, you will hit your capacity first. That's what he said. Whatever capacity you had, it was lying dormant because you didn't use it. You never knew that you had a capacity to think clearly and everything. You never knew that. You were all just going by what everybody was doing. Now we are told, use your thinking, question everything, don't take anything for all these things you do. You hit your capacity. Now, what is saying? Hitting your capacity. So therefore, there's a vertical growth. Immediately you shoot to your capacity, first capacity. This is your current capacity. Now, what happens is, now what is happening is you have to increase your capacity. Increasing capacity takes time. your capacity to run, maybe say 5 kilometers. The moment you start running, within a week or 10 days or 15 days, you'll hit that 5 kilometers. Now, to increase your capacity to 6 kilometers, it needs a lot of practice. You have to run, you have to train your muscles. Then only you can go to 6, then go to 7, right? So, therefore, it plateaus. So, first it is a meteoric rise, as it were, then it plateaus. Just as I'm giving cricket examples because it's easier to understand. Once a person, when a new player starts playing, what happens? Immediately his average shoots like anything, isn't it? 2 matches he scores 100, and second match he doesn't get out. What happens? Because then they will do 200 by one only. So average is 200. Isn't it? Third match he scores 50 and gets out. 250 by 2, 125 is average, isn't it? Now, once he has played, say, 50 matches, his average is now 50. Every match he scored a big 100 and everything. His now average is 50. Now, if he has to increase his average from 50 to 51, right? When he goes to bat, he has to score that 1 run for all the 50 innings plus this innings, isn't it? So he has to score a big score for that average to go up. In the initial stages, average grows up like anything, right? Similarly, with our capacity. In the initial stage, you will hit our capacity. Once you have hit your capacity, increasing capacity is effort. So it takes time. It is not that you can't increase your capacity, you take time to do it. If you do not put in the requisite effort, then you keep to your capacity. That's called saturation point. You just keep your capacity. But you'll have to put effort to go to the next level. You have to keep putting effort. How many people are willing to put the effort is the question.
So, for example, if in the same cricketing sense, right? So, let's say Surya Kumar Yadav, he is like a seasoned T20 player. It's not like he cannot play in test or one day. It's just like he needs to put additional effort or to get to that capacity where he can play the other matches, right?
Correct. So what happens? He hits his capacity. That's why he came up to international level. Everything is done. Now, even to maintain the international level, he has to do certain things just to maintain his capacity. So minimum you have to do. That's why we say every day you have to study. You maintain your capacity first. Then you read the higher scriptures to increase your capacity, develop your capacity to think, develop your clarity. Similarly, for these people, now they have gone to that international level. Now he has to score a minimum number of runs to be in the squad itself. But if he has to go to another format and score there, then it involves a lot of effort. See, that's why if you ask all this, the interviews of sports people are the most philosophical, if you really learn from it. So they asked Surya Kumar, how did you suddenly came to the scene, not at a later age? He said at one point of time, he decided, I have only this many years to play for the country. What will I do? He went into developing his skills. So they said, no, they reinvented themselves. What is reinventing? That's not no reinventing. They are developing their skill to go to the next level. So because they can't sit with their existing skills, that existing skill only will take them to that level. Now you have to change or develop your skills to go to the next level. This will not be vertical. This will, because you have to develop your skill, it will not go like the first time, the vertical thing. So there will be a plateau, it will only go gradually. That's what he's saying. If people do not put in the effort continuously, then they hit the saturation point. Means their capacity, they keep continuing that. Like there is an interview that has come just now. There's a guy who's given an interview about Virat Kohli. The day he scored a 200 in Bombay, he scored 200 test match. In fact, we were watching it live in Bombay because Swami likes cricket now. So we all got tickets. So we were there. That evening, this guy went to meet Virat Kohli for the first time, whoever it is, some guy, owning some company. Virat Kohli was in the gym. Whole day batting. He's not resting. He's in the gym. He said, why are you practicing? He's saying, no. Today, since I've done all this batting and scored, I have to now stretch my body. So I will be in the gym. Yes. That is why Virat Kohli is at that level. Even at this level, he keeps on doing those exercises. The Indian selector, when they were on a West Indies tour, was walking in the morning at 5 o'clock in the beach. The match is happening that day. The earlier day, Virat Kohli was batting and scored some 60 or 70. Morning 5 o'clock, he's seeing him doing yoga at 5 in the beach. And then he goes to the gym and then he goes to play. He was telling him also, he's told the coach, you should also do your stretches. You should keep fit. You understand? From that time, Sandeep Patil went and started doing exercises. So these people, though they have reached that level, you understand, they know to stay at the level or to improve, go to the next, they have to put in the effort. So that will not be a vertical movement, it will more be a horizontal movement. Because now it is a question of increasing your capacity. So it takes time. That's what he's saying. So therefore, so your existing capacity, no doubt, is fixed by your vasana from the past. Vasana means from the past. But as a human being, we have this choice of action. So therefore, we can increase this capacity by our effort. But this is hard effort, hard yards. Do people have that discipline, inclination to put effort? That's where the question is.
And
Any other
Swamiji,
clarification? Yes, Arjun.
yes, uh, uh, I said that it is effort, but I would like to know what is the right kind of effort. I would like you to elaborate on that uh, very clearly.
So see, what you need to understand is the effort to develop the thinking is only to the 2 points. Don't take anything for granted, question everything. But this should have started at a very young age. But since we didn't start it, therefore, the daily, not regular, daily study of scriptures is very, very important. Because the scripture stretches your thinking. Because every time you hear Swamiji or you read the book, you get some doubt, no? So therefore, what is happening? It is different from what you think. So automatically your intellect becomes aware and you start questioning everything. Not only this is just one aspect of it. That is why the practices become integral sadhana, it's called. What is integral sadhana? You will have to go and work in your medical business as a service, as a seva. Mahesh has to go to his company as a seva. He has to do service. So many families are being taken care of. I'm giving a quality product for the industry, whatever. You go with a service mind. If you go with a selfish mind or with worry and anxiety, the mind is disturbed. You can't think clearly, no? So that is also very important. Seva. So he has to go to Bank of America with a service. Prabhu has to do that. Only then, during the day, if you are doing such activities which is of service, some devotional practice which inspires you, you take to that and do the study. Then what happens is when you get up in the morning and study, the mind is already at rest because you have been doing unselfish actions. Then you can study in the morning also. It is like as simple as this. One fellow got hurt, injured. So he went to the doctor. And the doctor, what he did, he put medicine and put a bandage and everything and then said, go, come tomorrow once more. I just want to check, how it is faring, whether it is getting. I said, okay. The next day, the fellow went again. Then he said, how was it? I said, yeah, it's all getting treated. When he opened, it was still the same. It was not getting better. Then he said, okay, maybe some issue. So he moved the bandage, again put medicine, again he put the bandage, again he sent him. He's saying, now I saw this, you come for one more day because I thought from today only, after that you don't have to come. Third day event, even or worse. Then he asked, hey, what are you doing? He said, doctor, when I go home, it is so scratchy that I open the bandage and scratch myself. How will it heal? It will not heal, isn't it? Similarly, you go into higher values in the morning, study, and during the day, you rupture the mind with all selfish things, worry, anxiety, excitement. You understand? How will the mind be able to cooperate with you in the morning? It will not be possible. So therefore, study is just one aspect of it. The other aspect is to all your activities should be tuned into this. So I'm not saying, oh, you should always listen to bhajans. Not like that. Maybe you know what amount of time you have to spend on hearing some, chanting or bhajans or whatever, good things. You have your own fun also. There's nothing wrong in all that. You understand? But that I should go with the attitude of service when I'm doing work. I should have the attitude of devotion when I'm doing any emotional activity, and I have to do the study. If everything is integrated towards that, then you grow. And when you play sports, what happens? See, that's why you guys play sports. So when you play sports, your true colors come out. See, otherwise, when you're sitting and just studying and everything, you will think, I'm Buddha now, I'm Ramatirtha. Why? Because nothing is happening. But when you go and play a sport, you lose a few points. Then the mind plays tricks. You understand? So they always used to say, why is Swamiji asking students to play sports? I used to say, they are asking him to play students to play sports because when you are playing cricket or soccer, in the heat of the moment only your mind comes out. No, your original nature comes out. Otherwise, you are using your intellect to control it all the time. Or you are in such a conducive environment that the mind doesn't have a reason to be agitated, right? So sports gives you that. Now, because you are caught unawares. Morning I studied that I should not lose my focus. But when the ball came, I decided before the ball that I will not hit it. When the ball came, I hit wrongly and got out. Then you come back and said, oh my God, I have to work on my mind. So in that sense, sports helps. Of course, your regular business activity also helps because you go, so many uncertain things come up. How balanced are you in maintaining that? Your composure in handling those things. Those challenges are also there. I'm saying sport in a way brings it out. So then you understand, oh, I'm not where I think I am. Therefore, I need to put more effort. It's nothing to do, say anything. It's just to put more effort in trying to grow. When you lose, are you a good loser? You understand? It is a game. So it doesn't matter who wins, who loses. Do you have that attitude when you are losing? Or you're cursing the other fellow? I will show you next time. You understand all that. Then means your mind is getting involved. You understand? So this is all. So therefore, to answer your question, it should be all activity should be geared to that. Only then development will also happen. You can't do counterproductive activities. You do one good thing in the morning and then through the day you're doing all wrong things. It will not add up. Yeah.
And usually, what happens is in the morning, we study scriptures, and once we get back to work, uh, we are not aware of what actions we do, and we lose that focus, and we go to our uh, old nature.
Correct.
So,
In a way, it is good. In a
how
way, it
can
is good because then you are aware, right?
yes,
Today my awareness came up to 2 hours into work. Then by lunchtime you say, my God, I wanted to be objective. What happened? I got involved. So again, you restart, right? So this will
okay,
keep on extending. From 2 hours, it will become 2.5 hours, then it will become 3 hours like that. So that will grow more, provided you get more and more aware and start practicing this. That's all.
so awareness is the key, and whenever we feel that okay, we have become unaware, it's okay. Right from that point, we'll pick ourselves up and start again
Correct. Correct.
without losing our mind.
Correct. So it doesn't matter how many times you fail. Are you bouncing back is the question.
Okay.
Are you like a
Yes,
rubber ball? Are you like a lead ball? You put the lead ball, it just stops. Rubber ball bounces back. So like that, you have to bounce back. Why? Because for Janmas, we have left the mind free, scot free. First time scripture has come. So it is like a sumo wrestler fighting a African. One fellow was not eaten for 3 months. You understand? He's going to die. And sumo wrestler are fighting. Where is the competition? So the intellect is so weak, mind is so strong that you can't afford to feel bad when you lose. Do you bounce back? Get on with the thing. Okay, next time I'll face it. That's what it means. Yeah.
yes, Swami. Thank you.
Question 3. Now this is not asked by anybody, so all three have to answer. This is my question to you to test. What is the message the poem The Pond conveys?
Yeah, Swami. The pond basically says that a chicken looks at the ducks and thinks it also can swim, but at last, even though his mother says no, we are different. It just compares that its beak is the same, is pointed and it's rounded, and everything else. It has two legs. It has the same body, and why can't I also swim? And it desire it. It wants to swim, and at last it just drowns there. With all agony and yeah.
What is the message of the
So
poem for us to learn? That is the story. What is the message?
yeah. So the author he says it very easily at the end of the poem that the poem depicts the intellect being held hostage by the overpowering emotion of the mind. The intellect yields to the pressure of emotion and reasons in a circle, and one meets the fate of the chick. So I think this is the message, and the intellect, when it's held hostage or when it's overpowered, when the mind is stronger and the intellect is weak. So the same actions happens in our everyday life in all spheres of life. Let it be work, personal relationships, or with anything regard to it. So it is necessary to have a strong intellect, develop our intellect. Um, yeah.
Okay. Other answers?
Swamiji, in this poem, it is conveyed that each individual is different, and based on their features, just like one can swim and one cannot, one should analyze what one can do and put in the effort according to his nature, is what this message is being conveyed.
Okay.
Yeah. Swami even gives an example that someone is born, even if he's a businessman, this natural instinct and traits will be known as early in a very young age itself, as early as 5, 6, or 7. So one should, yeah, Swami gives this beautiful example that whatever natural traits one have, it comes very early. So if someone has a business attitude, maybe he can venture into business, then he'll be successful. And someone has a service attitude, whatever his basic nature is, one should go with it, as he said, Mr. Arjun said rightly.
Prabhu. You have to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah.
So I didn't. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I, I don't know. I mean,
So you don't have anything more to add to what they are saying, you're saying.
yeah. What they said.
Okay. So the moment you are asked to use the intellect, you start using the intellect, right? What you should now be careful of is the mind is so brilliant. It will lot of times use the intellect to get what it wants. This is what is conveyed in the pond. How is it how is it given? The chick said she thought of all things she should like to do so. I would like to do all these things. What? Go into the pond and swim like a. First is a desire has already come. And what happens? This is called justification. What is justification? When you have already decided something and you're giving reason and logic to justify your decision. So it will seem as though you're using reason, you're using your thinking, but the thinking is within the periphery of your mind's control. So therefore, you will only think the way the mind wants you to think. What is a, how do you say that? From the poem, line 21, very interesting. My feet, wings and feathers, for aught I see, are as good as the ducks are for swimming, said she. Is the feet of the duck and the feet of the chick the same?
No,
Not
No.
the same.
the duck
It's
has
got webbing.
webs in it.
It's webbing. That is why it's able to swim. So when you are caught up by the mind's mind, the data is there. The intellect will not be able to objectively come to a conclusion. See, it's seeing the feet. It didn't say it didn't see the feet. My feet, wings, and feathers for what I see. As good as the ducks of swimming. So a lot of times the data is right in front of you. But if your mind controls everything, you become blinded to that data. So you are reasoning, but the reason is only used only to justify, say why you should do something. So what is right reasoning? You weigh the pros and cons and then come to a conclusion. That is how you take a decision. You don't decide and then give logic and reason for the decision, which is what happened. That's why she said, I'm really remarkably fond of the water. I'm so fond of the water.
So basically, they are saying like sometimes the emotion takes control over the mind.
All the time, emotions take control of us, our reason. You should be careful. To remain objective means to be able to just take an objective decision where you weigh the pros and cons and come to a conclusion is a very rare thing until you develop clarity of thinking. When you develop
Yeah,
clarity of thinking, you will know. Now I am led by my mind. You will know that.
I mean, like nowadays, like I mean, never maybe like 1% of I would have like made pros and cons and decide something, but like not every time. Like most of the time, you just like decide,
Correct.
and then
Impulsive.
you think, oh no, what happened? Did I do something wrong?
Correct. Then what happens? The intellect comes to now to do more of how to handle the situation. Now I got into it. How do I do it? So then you keep on
Right.
only doing firefighting most of the
Like
time. It is
post
nothing,
analysis.
it's not a
Yeah.
conscious process at all of development. Conscious thinking is not there. This is what is portrayed here. Because what is he saying is the fact that you are thinking doesn't mean the thinking is free of the mind's emotions and mind's control. You have to be careful. That's what he's trying to indicate with the point. That's all he's trying to indicate. Because you will say, I have done reasoning. Sir, I thought about it before taking a decision. But then when you explain, the person who's, he may not be a teacher, it may be somebody else, because it's not his issue. He may be very objective to it, the other person. He will immediately understand, this fellow just wants to do it. He's just giving all fantas to do it. So that's what he's trying to say. I think I will venture and even try my luck. See what it says. I think I shall venture into the water and try my luck. What happened? Luck didn't work because there's nothing called luck or accident. Gone. Life is gone. One step, one step is enough to take you away, isn't it? See, this is the beauty and the fall for humans is one problem, choice. The beauty of the choices makes you can grow to some heights. The problem of the choices, if you don't know how to choose, you can go to the worst problems. It's made one choice of going into the water just to have fun. One choice. Life is gone, isn't it? So therefore, you need to be very careful when you're making your choices. Isn't it? One choice at 11th standard. Whole life changed. Isn't it? Engineering fellow is always meeting only other engineers and everybody. A medicine fellow already met only the doctors. A business person always meets other business person. Chart accountant only meets chart accountants. The whole world is changed with one decision at 11th. Choice. You heard something, Mahesh?
Yes, Swami. No, this is what I wanted to say. That just now you mentioned that we unknowingly take a decision, and that in that decision we are held up for many years or maybe even a lifespan.
Correct.
Um Say, example, I want to buy a house. Uh, Indefinitely, I work for maybe 10 to 15 years. Then
20 years.
yeah,
20.
maybe a lifetime also for sometimes. So yeah, all our decisions are very should be very intellectual, and as you said, just going into it, we just waste our entire time
Correct.
here.
Correct. See, you have to go on. These are things when you have the intellect, you understand. You go and find out any suicide survivor, person who attempted suicide, right? You just go and talk to them. They are talking to you as if nothing happened. And you are like, I've been in a situation like that. I had to carry somebody for a 300, 400 meters or 1 kilometer on my shoulder because the person had attempted. Then 48 hours of danger, ICU, everything, but that person is unconscious. Everybody's life has gone for a toss. After to ICU, after that, when they go, you go and meet the person. They're talking to us as though nothing has happened. You are like, what nonsense, So much you went through, just that one thought of hopelessness for a moment. That is a decision. One hopeless moment, that's all. So, in other words, if they had gone beyond the thought, they'll be like that only, what they were after 2 days. And you can't explain what the mind. That's the mind, just one thought. It's amazing how the mind. So, therefore, you should have the intellect to handle the mind because mind has no direction. It's going to do anything, which is what happened with the chick. So, the whole accent of the poem is if the intellect is there, you still give it time because you don't know as you have started using your intellect, it may be the mind which is keeping the intellect hostage. Be careful. That's all the poem is talking. Yeah. Any other questions? If not,
And, and
yes.
Swamiji, what happens when okay, we have taken some wrong choices in our life, and now we are in the process of building the intellect. And how can things be right? Is it like okay, now we have got the knowledge. Now from here we'll start and build again. Is it the way we have to look into it, or how is it?
So you need to first find out, is it possible to remedy the situation? If not, accept the situation. So you can't do anything about the situation, but you can find out how you react to the situation, right? So this is what we saw in the Gita in chapter 2, no? Titiksha. If you are in a choiceless situation, what you can do? You can endure it. Happily put up with that inconvenience. Because whatever certain, it's your own actions that has come as a result, right? You're trying to change it. If it is not possible to change, you have to accept it and move from there. So use the knowledge to insulate yourself that you're not affected by the situation. That's the only thing you can do. Otherwise, what happens? You're escaping the situation by not handling it. Or if you allow the situation to control you, then also you're not using your intellect. So therefore, what do? Practice titiksha. That's what he says. Tam titikshasто. Put up with that inconvenience with pleasure. There's no other way. And strengthen your intellect with higher knowledge of the scriptures to be able to handle, to be able to react positively to it. Otherwise, you can turn negative. See, some people go to the end, become completely negative. Some people go into depression. All these things happen, right? Why? Because the mind has got spiraled into it, right? You can't allow the mind to do that. You have to use your intellect to be able to handle it. I know by my unintelligent actions, I have come to this point. Now I've gained the knowledge. Therefore, I'll not allow this to slide more. I'll handle it. From now, I'll handle it. That's what you can do. Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? If not, one more question. we often find these are all questions because there are one group which is already in the third year. So I took up some questions from their group. We find in our day-to-day lives that desire is so powerful that our intellect is held captive, like the pond example. Under such a scenario, it may not be possible to know clearly as to whether one's decision is right. What should one do in this scenario?
Enjoy the desire and let the fruits bear. You say to a kid, the fire burns. The kid doesn't understand that fire burns. Then the kid has obviously got to touch, feel, and see it. And so that's just joking. Just.
No,
See, obviously, see, if your desire is so powerful, then you got to reap its benefits or whatever it is. I mean, not benefits, reap its karma or reap its rewards. Yeah.
Now, the question is, now you have taken a decision. You don't know whether it is completely intellect controlled or it is controlled by the mind, right? Now, what will you do with the decision is the question. You don't know at that point of time, right? While you're taking a decision, you don't know whether it is mind-led or intellect-led. It is intellect application is there. You don't know whether the mind controls this decision or it's a objective intellectual decision. What will you do in this point? At this point is the question.
Ask questions.
Ask questions.
Ask questions.
Okay.
And genuinely try to understand whether ask questions and genuinely try to understand. And even then, if you feel like doing it, go ahead.
Okay. Other answers?
While we take a decision, once we take a decision, we next thing what we can do is whether this decision is completely selfish or is it for the benefit of oneself as well as the other people, is what one can do in this scenario.
Okay.
So I feel like once you made the decision, after that you use you, you see whether the desire that you had is for a good cause or or a bad cause. Then like I think you got to bear the consequence if it's a bad cause. If it's a good cause, then just continue to pursue in that path.
So now you have applied your intellect, you have come to a conclusion. Now you're not very clear whether it is like the chick, my desire, and then is controlling me. I'm giving all this logic and reason to come to this conclusion. Or is it that I analyzed everything and then came to the conclusion that I should do this? So you're not clear at this stage of decision making whether it is mind-led or intellect-led. This is the scenario, right? So therefore, first step that you have to do is postpone taking the decision. Though you have decided, give time. They say, no, let's sleep over the decision. A lot of times they say, sleep over the decision means what? Give time. If it is mind-led, the mind will keep on coming and disturbing you. Hey, we should do this, we should do this, we should do this. If it is intellect-led, intellect has a role is only to decide. Once it's decided, that's all. Intellect is not going to be desperate. You understand? It's the mind that gets desperate. So, sleep over it. Examine all the points that you have analyzed the next morning or over after a period of time. Afresh. Then a lot of times you will be able to catch it is, oh, okay. At this point of time, at this point in my discussion, my analysis, mine took over. Therefore, from this point of time, I've lost. You understand. If After all these things, it is not clear. You will have to consult a higher intellect. You go to a higher intellect and consult the higher intellect. A well-wisher, somebody who doesn't have any axe to grind by your decision. In other words, you have a business decision. You can't go to your own business partner and discuss it. He also wants the same decision. So he'll not be objective. You understand? So you have to go to a third party, a person who you know has clarity, who's also interested in your welfare, and discuss this whole thing. Then they will analyze and tell you, or basically you're lending their intellect to find out whether your decision is correct or not.
So
You
basically, you
consult
go
the
to a mentor.
correct. So you go to a higher
Yeah.
intellect and discuss it. Then they will tell you this is right, this is wrong, or they will say it is wrong only, but you're now so much into it, please go ahead and do it. Whatever. At least you know that I'm going in understanding that my mind has taken me into it. You understand. So therefore, in other words, a boy is already fallen for a girl. If he goes to a master and says, what should I do? Master will say, hey, why are you going into all this? But then the master will also understand at some point of time, you're now so much into it. It's okay, get into it. But these are all the problems that will come. Gain the intellectual strength to be able to handle it. That advice at least you'll get. No, otherwise you will go into thinking it'll be a heavenly experience. And then you get hit. Isn't it? So therefore, the higher intellect helps you analyze things, and the higher intellect no higher intellect worth the name will take the decision for you. They will only analyze things for you and then allow you to take the decision. So these are the two things that you can do.
Yeah, but you said that you already made a decision. Now,
Correct.
what you have to do is like gain enough, like more intellect to handle those
Correct.
decision
So that is why you're
that
going
you
to the
took.
higher intellects to say whether
Yeah.
the decision that I've taken is right. The supposition is if you have that enough surrender and that person says the decision is wrong, you should not go by it, you will change the decision also. That is why you're not acted on the decision. You have just taken a call, but before you act on it, you want to take somebody else's opinion who is a higher intellect who will tell you on your face which is correct or not.
Yeah.
So then you are willing to revise your thinking because he has lent his thinking, his or her thinking to you to gain the clarity, which you are not able to see. Yeah.
So Swamiji, it is like uh, it is a two-step process. One is not to allow, not to take an impulsive decision, and okay, once the decision is taken, if it is taken through intellect, we can. There is no point in having a further discussion of whether it is right or wrong. If if we are not sure of whether the decision is right or wrong, we seek advice from a person who has a larger intellect and who happens to be our who happens to see our welfare. We have to surrender to them.
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
So first is you can give time. A lot of times you only know. See,
Yeah.
you should understand in any decision, there are three scenarios. One scenario is mind is completely in control, you will know. My mind wants it, whatever come may, it will want it. So there's no doubt in the decision. You know it's mind led. If it intellect is very, very strong, also you will never have a doubt. Because the desire is so weak and the intellect is so strong. You know very clearly. So where is the doubt? In these areas, where is 50-50? That's where the doubt comes. Is it mind-led or intellect-led? You understand? This is where the doubt comes.
Yeah.
So there, once you give a time and rework the whole thing again, chances are you may find out whether it is mind-led or intellect-led. If it still doesn't happen, then you go to a higher intellect to take a decision. That's what we are saying. See, for
I think
example, yeah,
most
yes,
of the decision we take is like basically like that 50-50.
correct. A
We are
lot of
still
times that's what
developing
happens.
our intellect.
Correct, correct.
Yeah.
Because the decision is not should I have ice cream today or not. There you are very clear. You understand? Either you will have it or not have it, and it's of no consequence to you. So any decision is of consequence only where there is a doubt because the emotion is at play. So many other people's lives are at stake, and then you also have to think. See, that is where you have to consult a higher intellect and go. A simple, very, very simple example. You're going to play a game of cricket. One 3-year-old child comes and bowls and gets you a wicket. 5-year-old child. Will you be agitated? You will not be agitated. Yes, not a chance. Jasprit Bumrah comes and bowls to you, takes your wicket. Will you be agitated? You know you are not at that level. And he is supposed to take my wicket. When a person is equal to your level, when you are playing, and that person takes your wicket, only you get that thing, right? So similarly, when the mind is very strong, you know your mind is very strong. When the
Yeah.
intellect is very strong, also you know intellect very strong. When it's only equal, only there's a competition where you are not very clear whether it's mind led or intellect led. So that's where the discussion. If it is life altering, life making decisions, you should consult higher intellect and then take the call in your interest. You have to do it. And why the surrender helps? A lot of times the decision that they gave may be very harsh for you from your standpoint, not from their standpoint. The willingness to go through with it just because they are telling you and you know that it is in your interest, that takes surrender. Only if you surrender, you can do that. Otherwise, it's difficult. Yes, Mahesh.
So that's why I see many wise people usually don't take immediate decisions.
Correct.
Like even when we go to buy a land or we go to finish a deal, usually they hear us out and then they say, I will ask my wife, or they will say some
Correct.
reason
They'll postpone decision. Correct.
postpone decision. Yeah.
So they'll never take it emotionally. They will always.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
It is not just this in everything. You ask Warren Buffett's greatest advice.
Mm.
See, read Warren Buffett's advice, one of the greatest investors. Never
Mm.
allow your emotions to take
Oh,
decisions. He
power.
says,
Mm.
or he always
Mm.
says. The
Mm.
first thing he learned when he started investing. Don't allow the emotions to dictate decision making. Keep it aside. So in all aspects it works. I'm saying it's the truth. That's how it works.
Yes, Swami.
Any other questions?
Yes, Swamiji. And okay, it is one aspect is taking decisions, and there is one more side of the coin. When you are being given a decision, how should one perceive that?
If there is, so that's what no. There is a choiceful situation, there's a choiceless situation, right? Choiceful situations where you have control, you can take decisions. Choiceless situation is you are in such a situation now where you can't take a call now. It's choiceless. As far as you are concerned, you can't, there's no choice that you are left with. There you can only change the way you react to the situation. Internally, how you react to the situation only you have control over. Otherwise, you don't have control over the situation because it's not in your hands. So there you can only control the reaction to the situation. How do you control the reaction? I will not allow the situation to dictate things to me. I will not allow the situation to agitate me. I will not allow the situation to alter my life's course in whatever. I will take the calls. Right? So therefore, the reaction is in your control always. So
Okay,
the
sir.
decision is not yours. The decision is taken by somebody, but that decision affects you. Now you have a choice to be affected by the decision or not affected by the decision. That's control you have, the reaction. Will I allow that decision to overpower me, my life, take control of? No, I will not allow that to do. That
Okay.
you have control over. That always you have control over. So now it is a question of the intellect keeping the mind quiet enough for you to take control. Otherwise, the mind gets so disturbed that you lose your capacity to think, isn't it? Whenever you're disturbed, if somebody comes to talk to you, you say, no, don't talk to me. I can't think clearly. When the mind is disturbed, you can't think. So therefore, what is the reaction? The intellect should not allow the mind to get disturbed with it. Only
Okay,
reaction
sir.
is in your control. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Any other questions?
Swami, I have a question.
Yeah.
Sometimes this intellectual taking over feels really boring. The life that is when it goes with the whims of the minds, it looks very dynamic and you go through a lot of ups and downs. But when you develop this intellect, life seems a little bit bland and boring.
It is not the case. I'll tell you why. Because when you have the intellect, you control the mind. What will happen is you will have to keep moving to higher and higher goals. Therefore, there's always a challenge. So that is not what people do. When they are cruising, they say everything is nice. So let me just chill. No, no. You should go to the next higher challenge. You should have a larger goal, larger things you have to work. So always there is a challenge. So you should always be in a situation where your intellect is being challenged. That's when you grow. Then it becomes very interesting. Oh, how do I handle all these things? How do you go to the next level? Otherwise, what you're saying is right. For the world to not bother you, or your life to not bother you, you need only 5-10% of this knowledge. The moment you have understanding, it will not bother you. But if you have to grow to the next level of evolution, go to the next level, think of a larger set of people being benefited and everything. There it's an intellectual challenge. Now you have to work on it. That's when the excitement keeps continuing.
Yes.
So for a lot of people, that doesn't happen. In other words, the first time you took up a job or something, how much was thrill in that, isn't it? Because the first time you're going, it's going to be intellectually stimulating, everything is there. After a few years, what happens? Because you're going and doing the same thing again and again, right? You're not raised your level of thinking or vision. Therefore, it becomes dragging after some point of time. So you should always be in an environment where your intellect is being challenged. Then it becomes interesting. Then there is a thrill. Yeah.
Sure.
Any other questions? If not, we'll conclude here. We'll meet in the next class.
Hari Om, Shyam.
Hari Om, Swami. Thank you.
Thank you.